What up, my dudes? It's Taylor.
And I'm Whitney. And we are the Ghost Sisters.
We're the Ghost Sisters.
You're ridiculous.
I know, I try. So, what you got for me, friend?
All right, so we're just gonna get straight up into it. The title of my document is "What the fuck, Australia?" Because I started looking at other stuff, but then I stayed on this one. But still, the "What the fuck, Australia?" I feel is still valid. We'll get back to you guys, but we're gonna start with the Bunyip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Bunyip.
So, Bunyip is a mythical creature from Australian Aboriginal mythology. It's said to live in swamps. Billabongs, which I researched, is a branch of a river forming a backwater or stagnant pool made by water flowing from the main stream during a flood. That's what a billabong is.
Okay, I always like when I see Billabong, I think of the
Yeah, I
store.
think of like,
So,
"Hang Ten, man, let's go surfing." So I
yeah,
was like, "What the fuck is a billabong?" So I researched that. So yeah, they live in swamps, billabongs, creeks, riverbeds, water holes, pretty much anything that has water of some sort. So it stays deep inside of deep, murky waters, waiting to attack its unsuspecting prey. Da da
great.
da. So it's known by several different names, like I'm so sorry, y'all. Kiamprati?
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Kian Prati from the Murrumbidgee in Hunter Valley and Weewa in Narondera.
Oh,
Weewa,
Weewaw.
Weewa, Weewa. So yeah, but the name Bunyip mainly comes from the Wimba Wimba language in southern Australia, and it can be translated to devil or evil spirit or even imposter.
I feel like 90% of Australia just isn't real.
Yeah,
Like,
like you're just gonna die or fall into a weird Narnia of like unknown randomness.
yeah, and like the names I I can't. It like
Wow,
Wowie and
wowie.
Weewaw. Yeah.
So the word bunyip in the mid 19th century actually meant pretender or imposter. So it was used in normal vernacular. Now it is
Hmm.
actually an insult and it's calling someone an idiot, a moron, el stupido, or even one source said that it means so stupid to the point of being too offensive to exist.
Oh,
So if you call someone a bunyip, apparently you're like, fuck you, motherfucker, you goddamn bunyip. You're dumb as shit and you don't even deserve to live. Like, damn, it
you're
is.
you're a waste of oxygen.
Yeah, like it's the worst thing ever, but I do feel like
Wow.
I feel like it's a great insult.
I love
Especially
it.
if you're
Yeah.
not like from Australia and you don't know, which I guess is maybe even more mean, but to just call someone a bunyip and then they're like, "What the fuck is that?" And you're like, "Haha, see, bunyip." Um,
Get stuffed, you bunyip.
I'm not even gonna try to do an accent at all, so
I'm sure I just offended many Australians. So,
probably. Yeah, they're all unsubscribe. So, there are a few theories behind the bunyip. And I'm so sorry, Australia, if I say any of your words wrong, because I'm gonna, and I'm sorry.
it's fair.
So the Narnjeri, it is spelled Ngarrindjeri. And I did
Sure.
do how to pronounce, and it said it was Narnjeri. So,
Cool.
alrighty. They call the bunyip
Sure.
Mulyawank. It is Mulyawank.
Yeah, that's what
So
it
they
is.
call it the Mulyawank. Legend says that a Narnjeri man was catching fish in a river but he was a little greedy and he actually took too many fish. This upset the elders, and the elders, being almighty powerful elders as they are, decided to punish the man and turned him into a mulyawonk and to live forever in the river. Children were then told, never swim alone and definitely don't take more fish than you're supposed to, or the mulyawonk will get you.
Hell, I'd be worried about the elders, not necessarily the Moyawonk Dam.
I mean, I would be worried about both, honestly, because, like,
Sure.
yeah. So, another legend, it's not really a legend, this is actually like mythology for,
Mhm.
the Aboriginal people, which I tried to look further into and I was really struggling. So, if any of you guys can elaborate, that would totes my goats be cool because you guys are interesting. So, anyways, it said that a man whose name was Bunyip broke the rainbow serpent's greatest law by eating his totem animal. Not really sure which totem animal he ate, but
Yeah.
the man ate it. So, a good spirit named Byami then banished the man named Bunyip, and he then became an evil spirit that seemed to lure the tribesmen and their livestock into the water so that he could eat all of them. So that
Okay.
is the mythology behind that. I did look into what the rainbow serpent's deal is because I was like, okay, I don't, there's got to be, like Greek mythology, you can be like, yeah, hair fucking sucks, but then you like go into it, you're like, oh, that's
Yeah.
why. So I was like, so why is the rainbow serpent so mad about his totem? Nope, couldn't find a whole lot. It was just like rainbow serpent is related to the bunyip. And you're like, I understand that, but why?
Which way?
So if you guys out there know more about this kind of mythology, I would love to hear about it because I was struggling trying to find stuff on it.
Mhm.
So, despite all of its mythological origins, whether it's that or just, a greedy man, some researchers believe that it was actually a prehistoric marsupial called the
Hmm.
Diptrodon australis, which apparently went extinct 46,000 years ago.
Oh, it's a kind of recent fossil. Interesting.
You know, I thought you would find that interesting.
Yeah.
So, what does this thing look like? Nobody knows.
Why would they?
I this was the most, like, ridiculous part, I think, of all of this because, like,
Mm.
what? So, newspapers in the early 19th century actually had reported a couple of stories about it, and it was said to have dark fur, dog-like shape or a dog-like face with sharp teeth and claws. Another thing said that it had smooth skin and apricot-shaped eyes. Another one said it also had flippers, tusks, horns, had a duck-like bill. So, like, the worst fucking platypus known to man.
That's what I was gonna say. It's a mutant platypus.
Yeah. So, other sources said it had a long neck with a rounded head and a big fat body like a manatee. One man, his name William Buckley, he was back in the 1800s. He said that it looked like a large amphibious animal with gray feathers on its back. So I don't really know. And
Yeah.
William Buckley, I don't know how much we can trust him. He was actually an English convict who was, being transported to Australia because that's, you
Mhm.
know, how that goes. But then he escaped on his way to the penal colony and just found himself in what's present day Melbourne and befriended the local Wadawurrung people and just
Hmm, okay.
lived his life among them, and he claimed that he saw a bunyip on multiple occasions. He was a convict who
Sure.
escaped, and we're supposed to believe his description of this feather-like beast? I don't know.
I
Whatever.
don't know. Depends on what his crime was, if it was like
Yeah, because
yeah.
like, back then, it could have been like he stole an apple, and they're like, "Nope, get the fuck to Australia," and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa."
Yeah,
So, I don't know.
exactly. Now if he was like I don't know, because even if he murdered people, like, yeah, he may still have if he was a con man though, yeah, 100% not gonna believe you.
Th I don't know. I don't think I would believe a murderer either. I'd be like, you made a lot of people think that you weren't a murderer for a while and then you got caught. So, like, I still don't trust
Sure.
you, which
That's
I think
fair.
is reasonable. So, yeah, descriptions have gone anywhere from what I just said to like a dog-like or seal-like creature. It could be
Hmm.
as big as a horse or as small as a dog. It could have fangs, it could have scales, it could have one eye, it could have two eyes, it could have tusks, it could have flippers. Literally whatever the fuck you think it would look like is what you would think it would look like. I saw one source
Yeah.
that said it was like a starfish and another source that said it was like a snake with a beard. So, like, literally, whatever
Okay.
you think it could possibly be, that's what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
So, basically, if you take like a, I don't know, motor skills when that happens, but a little kid's drawing like 2, 3-year-old, and they're like, "Look, Bobby, it's the family dog," and you're like, "What the fuck is this?" That's a bunyip, apparently. It can be
Gotcha.
literally anything. So, what is this?
Now,
What?
the next time, like when you have kids and they draw me a picture of the family dog, I'm gonna be like, "What a cute bunyip!"
And they're gonna grow up
They're
and
gonna
they're
be
gonna be
like,
like, "Oh
"What?"
my god, a bunyip! It's so cute!" And then they're somehow gonna travel to Australia and be like, "Oh, look at the bunyip!" And they're like, "Don't call my child dumb." It's like, "Wait, what? Wait, what?" That
Fantastic.
that'll be fun. That's a good future.
Mhm.
So, what does it do? Again, I don't really, I seem to have very like cut and dry stuff when it comes to my creature features, but this guy is just kind of
Mhm.
like just as ambiguous as this looks. I mean, you
Hmm.
don't know. So, for the most part, he has been said to give an ear shattering roar and that it could possibly stun its prey in its place.
Hmm.
And this is all while like being inside of water or a river or a
Okay.
lake. Like he just kind of pops up and is like, rah. And then you're like, oh shit. And you're frozen in place. It's said to be a man-eating beast, and of course, when I say man-eating beast, what I really mean is it eats women and children because why wouldn't
Yeah.
it? I'm assuming it doesn't care if it's a man, it'll eat that too if it's hungry, but I guess its preferred delicacy is women and children.
Hmm. Okay.
It's also been said to eat livestock, and this is all, of course, if you wander too closely to the lake or to the pond or the
Mhm.
billabong, it will surprise you with its roar and then chomp chomp, you're dead.
Okay.
So, yeah, another source that I saw said that it could possibly have supernatural powers, like changing the
Mhm.
water levels, which now that I think about it does kind of make sense if you're like, oh, someone's wandering by the pond, and then you like raise the level to sweep them in. I could see
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
It's also possible it could hypnotize humans to act as its
Oh.
slaves. Did it elaborate on why? Nope. No clue.
Nope.
This disformed Frankenstein creature, I don't know what they would need slaves for,
Yeah.
but
Bring me your livestock.
wouldn't you think it would just be like, why don't you live here and keep procreating right here next to the water so that I can
Mhm.
have a forever source of humans?
Legit.
I mean, it doesn't even know what it wants to be. I don't think it knows what it wants human slaves to do. So I don't, you know.
Fair. Yeah.
And then, of course, some accounts have said that it's actually a very docile creature and is an herbivore and it actually shies away from humans.
Oh, okay. So we went from man-eater to docile
Yeah.
and shy.
Yeah. We,
Hmm.
it took a turn. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, sightings. I don't know. Most of the sightings are from the 1800s. Like
Huh.
nothing much further from that. It's everything's in the 1800s. So if it did exist, it no longer exists, I'm assuming. Or it
Hmm.
does exist and people that have managed to see it have perished. And so there's no reports.
Okay.
But yeah. So in 1818, there was a man named Hamilton Humes. He happened to find some large mysterious bones, and he didn't say they were bunyip bones, but he thought it could actually be like a hippopotamus or a manatee, which I'm not really sure where it says that he found these because I'm trying to think of like where hippopotamus and manatees would be for it to even
Yeah, that
make
was my thought
sense.
too.
Like, is a hippopotamus going to be in just like a little river or what?
Here, I'm looking up where we typically find hippopotamus.
Which also reminds me of the guy, I forget his name, but he played Moon Knight, the Marvel guy.
Okay.
But he's like on some talk show and he's like, I'm gonna play you guys a song. It's called Hippopotamus. And he goes, Hippopotamus, Hippopotamus. And that's what I think of every time.
Fair.
Yeah.
Let's see if they have hippopotami in Australia. Not native to South America or Australia. So you would not find hippopotamus bones
But would you find
in
manatee bones
Australia. That's what I was looking up
in
next.
Australia's?
In Australia's.
All
You cannot see manatees in Australia,
right, so
but you can
apparently,
see a dugong.
what the fuck is a dugong?
Dugongs. It's a relative to
It's like
manatees.
the cousin?
They are native to Australian waters,
Okay.
yeah.
So Hamilton Humes either didn't know the difference between a manatee and a dugong, hey, or he was like high as fuck and we was like, well, it's a hippopotamus, ma. So who knows? Either way, he did not say it was a bunyip, but obviously he also didn't know what he was talking about. So
Sure.
scholars heard about these bones and they actually thought it sounded more like what the Aborigine people described as a bunyip. And so at that point,
Hmm.
the Philosophical Society of Australia offered to pay Humes to return to the lake where he found the skeleton and transport it back to their headquarters. Humes declined. I think
Yeah, that's
sus.
what I was gonna say. He either he either made up the whole thing and had nothing to show for it, or he went back and like the bones were mysteriously gone or something.
Yeah, I don't know if he went back. It just stated that he declined. So maybe he
Yeah.
knew they didn't exist, or he was like, I'm not fucking going back. That was all the way back there. I'm going forward. Never look back. I don't know.
I mean, like, if they're gonna pay, it depends on the sum. If they were like, yeah, we'll pay you $1 to go get it, like, no, I'm not doing that.
But
But if they were paying me like,
a buck in 1818 is probably like a million.
no, I mean like $1 equivalent, like
Okay,
the equivalent of a
like a
dollar
penny.
back then. So like what, a dollar, yeah, 1 cent. But if they were like, yeah, I'm gonna pay you $150 to go get it, I'd be like, okay. So
See, I'm like
yeah.
150. I would be like, no, needs to be like 500 or something, like
Yeah.
at minimum of 500. Like I will draw it for you for 150, but I'm not going to take you there.
I will draw it for you.
I'm not going to show you. So, anyways,
Fantastic.
in 1813, there were more bones that were unearthed in Wellington Cave, and anatomist Sir Richard Owen determined that those bones actually belonged to a bunyip that had been seen and reported in the nearby waterways. Where Sir Richard
Huh.
Owen got his information, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
In July 1845, a newspaper actually reported on some fossils being discovered. And when they were shown to an Aboriginal man, he instantly recognized them as the remains of a bunyip.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And
That's pretty cool.
yeah, and then in January 1846, there was a strange skull that was delivered near the Murrumbidgee River in New South Wales. And again,
Okay.
it got shown to some natives and it was decided it was a bunyip. It was later
Hmm.
put on display in the Australian Museum in Sydney, but then was determined to actually be the deformed skull of a calf.
Oh,
So, you know,
okay.
that's where we're at.
Yeah.
And then I put 1951, but I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be 1851.
Okay.
A newspaper called the Australian published an
Okay.
article about a bunyip that had been speared after it killed an Aboriginal man.
Ooh.
So, I don't know. Did these things exist? Or did they just see like weird animals near waterways and thought that that was it?
I don't know. I feel like people were probably pretty bored back then.
Yeah,
So,
I imagine there's not a whole lot to do in 1800s,
yeah.
especially from what I understand of Australia. You're gonna die. Like, shit's not
Sure.
okay in
Yeah.
the outback. I do have a small mention of another little creature that is out there too that, yeah, Australia, I wanna visit you, but you're scary. So, you're super scary. If you
You're so scary.
do go and visit Australia, you can actually find an animatronic bunyip. His name is Bert, or it was Bert. He was on the riverbanks of the Murray River in Murray Bridge, which someone correct me if I'm wrong. I think Murray Bridge is an actual city and not just the name of a
Okay.
bridge. Because I was looking and I was like, but
Okay.
where are you? But I couldn't find it. Yeah, so Bert was actually built by Dennis Newell in 1972. And apparently, you could pay like 20 cents for the animatronic bunyip to emerge from the water and let out two loud roars. And it was noted that this did scare small children. Which, I mean, yeah, if you weren't expecting it. I feel like even as a kid, if you were expecting it, you would still be like, "Ah," I don't
Yeah.
know. It doesn't well, okay. I was like, "It doesn't look very lifelike." Well, I'll send you a link to the picture of it,
Okay.
but from everything that I read, none of it looks lifelike, so I don't fucking know. So,
Yeah.
anyways, but in 1982, Bert actually became Bertha when it was given a baby bunyip. So the poor mother and child bunyips, I'm gonna call them yippies, were actually vandalized throughout the years.
Oh.
Yeah, so one time they actually destroyed its sound box, making it to where it would just roar constantly. Instead of just doing the two roars, it was just like raw the whole time. Um, it's of course since been fixed, and the yippies
Yeah.
had their home revamped and had actually some major repairs done. And now you can actually see the yippies on the Murray River at Sturt Reserve Murray Bridge,
Okay.
and it's free now. They did up it to $1 at one point, and then they were like, "Nah, something this good, we got to share with the public."
Fair.
You know. So that's what I found on the bunyip. A small note, I know I had mentioned earlier about the wowie, like it being called a wowie. Whenever I did
Yeah.
try to research about the wowie, all I really found was it's a type of bunyip. It resides on the banks of the Murray River where you can find Bertha. And sometimes it's thought to be like a iguana or a giant lizard. And that's really all I found on the
Okay.
wowie.
So
So I don't
it's like the amphibian version of a bunyip.
Well, so I don't even know if it's the amphibian version because there were descriptions
We
of
don't
a
know what a
bunyip
bunyip
being
is.
an amphibious creature. So I
Oh,
don't
okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It could just
Hmm.
be someone out there was like, "Wowee, a bunyip," and they were like, "Did you call it a wowie?" And they were like, "I guess so." Who knows? It
Who
could be that.
knows?
So the other thing that I thought was an interesting little tidbit. This is why I'm like, "Damn Australia, what the fuck?" I'm gonna attempt to say this name. I tried to put it into how to pronounce this, and it was like, "What?"
Uh-huh.
So, Gear hmm, Gay Gayernan Goloku?
It's like you had a stroke.
Gearnganackle?
Okay.
Anyways,
Sure.
and the spelling is Ngayurnangalku.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so it looks like
That
someone
sounds
slapped the keyboard and was like, "Yup."
yeah. It was like, that almost sounds Icelandic, like, dang.
Yeah, like, wow, you guys. And they actually there's a lot of stuff that I was trying to look up, and I was like, "How the fuck do you pronounce this shit?" But, I'm sure you guys are like,
Uh-huh.
"It's really simple, Whitney. It's just blah." And I'm not thinking of it because that's how I felt about something else, and then it pronounced it, and I was like, "Well, duh. That's the
Yeah,
vernacular
I
way
get
to
you.
pronounce it." Anyways,
Yep.
We're just going to call him the Galku. I'm going to call him the Galku.
Oh,
I'm going to shorten that name to
okay.
Galku. So these
Okay.
guys are actually said to be body snatchers. So,
Oh.
and the name that I cannot pronounce actually translates to "they will eat me."
Oh,
Oh,
creepy.
and they are said to actually be ancestral cannibal beings.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
and the reason why I kind of like thought it was cool to put them in with this, since we're still talking about water, these guys reside under the Compupintil. Compupintil. Let
Sure.
me go to how to pronounce this. This this should be able to be pronounced and not like a dumbass like me. Nope. Disagree. No one wants to pronounce this. Okay.
Okay.
Com Compupintil. Compupintil. It's a
Okay.
real lake. So it is a salt lake in Western Australia. And to other people, I guess, who don't know how to pronounce it, it is known as Lake Disappointment.
I've heard of Lake Disappointment.
Okay.
Okay.
So Lake
Yeah.
Disappointment is actually a very taboo area. People don't
Hmm.
go there. There's actually a no-fly zone over that area because of
Interesting.
the Galku. So the Galku reside
Oh,
underneath this lake. I'm sure, surely the Australian government has a different reason for the no-fly zone, but what I found said that it was because of these guys. Because they're quote
interesting.
unquote body snatchers, but apparently their reach has no limit and they will just snatch planes from the sky and bring it down and eat their humans.
Well,
Guys, I
damn.
know they are humanoid kind of figures, and what I found on their description is that they are bald and they have long curved claws and they live under
Okay.
this salt lake. So again, that I didn't find a whole lot on these guys, but I just was like, I can't not talk about these guys, especially if we're talking about lakes. There was
Hmm.
something else that I'm gonna have to look further into it. Australia has their own kind of Loch Ness monster, so that may be for a different episode, but yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I found on the bunyips and the Galku.
Very cool.
Thanks. So Australia, hit me up, let me know if I completely fucked all that up for you guys, or if you've got anything else for me. I would love to hear more
Yeah.
about the bunyip from you guys versus me trying to find hit and miss info online because this is a weird one. It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's
And if
no,
you've ever seen a bunyip, tell us, because that would be a crazy ass story.
and if you saw a bunyip in the 1800s, definitely tell us because then you're a vampire. So
Yeah.
I need to know that. Yeah,
I need to know that for
for
reasons.
reasons. So yeah, sorry that that was a short one for you guys, but short and sweet. We'll get to some other ones here in a little bit. And yeah,
Yeah.
you have anything
Excellent.
else?
Nope. I'm
Nope.
good.
Oh, all right. Well, don't be a bunyip. I'm definitely going to be using that as an insult moving forward.
Excellent. I love it.
Yeah. And then someone will research it and be
Yes.
like, what?
What? It's
Yeah.
like in Despicable Me whenever he's like, "You have a face like a burro," and she's like, "Oh," and then she looks up what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a face like a
So
bunyip. As in, I cannot tell what it is.
you look like a mutated platypus.
Fucked up platypus. Alrighty.
Awesome.
Well, I guess you guys, we will spook you later, bitches.
Yep. Spook you later, bitches.
See you on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye.